Thank you all for being here. We're going to go ahead and start. First, I'm going to recap the events, and then I have a few things to say, and then I'll be turning it over to State's Attorney Tom Hain. On December 5th, 2025, at approximately 2:19 p.m., officers with the Granite City Police Department were called to the 2000 block of Johnson Road in reference to a call of an unwanted subject. Upon arrival, a description of the subject was obtained and given over the radio. An officer of the Granite City Police Department encountered this suspect across the street from Pizza World. The suspect was approached by the officer who pulled a firearm and immediately began firing at the officer, striking him twice. The officer was transported to an area hospital by the Granite City Fire Department where he began receiving medical treatment. Many officers from surrounding local, county, state, and federal agencies responded to assist with the search for the suspect, and the Illinois State Police assumed responsibility for the investigation. During the search for the suspect, information was released to the media, including photographs of the suspect. The assistance of the media during this investigation and the release of the photos is ultimately what led to the capture of the suspect. Ultimately, we received a tip from the public identifying the suspect as DJ Marshall, and another tip that led us to his location. At approximately 3 a.m. on, it would have been the 6th, Marshall was located in the 2500 block of Missouri Avenue in an abandoned vehicle where he was taken into custody by the United States Marshal Service and with the assistance of an Illinois State Police canine and transported to the Madison County Jail. I stand here before you today very humbled at the response that we received during this tragic event. The list of agencies, businesses, community members, and community leaders that responded or reached out to help our officer is very lengthy and overwhelming. I do not want to inadvertently miss anyone, but I would like to extend my sincerest thanks to everyone involved. I would like to take a moment to recognize everybody with the Granite City Police Department, the Granite City Fire Department for the treatment and care of our officer, and other local government agencies in Granite City that work tirelessly to bring a successful conclusion to the senseless act of violence, including the mayor, Mayor Parkinson, and the City Council. Without their support, we wouldn't be here. The Illinois State Police has done an excellent job investigating this case, and they have worked tirelessly with the Madison County State's Attorney's Office to bring forth the charges here today. I would be remiss if I did not thank them for that. And now I'm going to give you an update on our officer. He continues to improve and is recovering in an area hospital. At this time, I'm going to identify him. His name is Officer Tyler Timmons, that is spelled Timmons. He is 27 years of age, and he's a 4-year veteran of the Granite City Police Department. We ask that you please respect the officer and his family's privacy at this time. I know that there's going to be some questions about fundraisers and donations, so I've spoken to the union, and monetary donations can be sent to the Granite City Police Department, but any sort of check needs to be written out to the PBPA Unit 15. That is the police union, and they will handle all monies given to the family. The last thing that I would like to say is to anyone who thinks that they're going to come to Granite City to do violence to one of our officers, I have this to say. You will be identified. You will be hunted. You will be located, and you will be brought to justice. Thank you very much.
It's a great honor to be here today. Our prayers are with the Timmons family. It's an early Christmas miracle that he's still with us. And there have been situations in the past where all of us would have given anything to have had the police officer still with us. So I just want to commend the Granite City Police family, the whole family, Tyler Timmons' family and the whole Granite City Police Department. You're strong, you're united. It's incredibly impressive, and we're very thankful. I want to announce today the charges against DJ Marshall. Today, my office charged DJ Marshall of Granite City with 1 count of attempted first-degree murder against a police officer, 1 count of aggravated battery with a firearm, 1 count of possession of a firearm by a repeat felony offender, and 1 count of felon in possession of a weapon. All told, these charges carry a penalty up to 100 years in prison. And I would say this, the united law enforcement presence in Southern Illinois, and in particular Madison County in our region, is incredible. In my office, State Attorney's Office, we aim to bring justice to offenders, to evildoers in our community. But it's the law enforcement, it's the police officers who are on the line. You guys are on the front line, and we do not take it for granted. We thank you for doing that, because when other people run away from gunshots, you run towards them, you protect us all. And those who bring violence to individuals who sign up to serve and protect will face the full force of law in Madison County. And in this case, we aim to put DJ Marshall behind bars for the rest of his life. That is our goal in this prosecution. And we continue to pray for the recovery of Officer Timmons. And that, I think with that, I'll just open it up to questions, if anyone has any.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on some court records, it appears DJ Marshall had 4 active warrants out for his arrest at the time of all of this taking place. Can you speak to 2 of those being felonies? Can you speak to the role, if any, that the Safety Act has played in allowing someone like this on our streets?
I would say this, we're here for Officer Timmons, and we're also here to make sure that DJ Marshall faces justice. I cannot ethically discuss the criminal history of the defendant. We're not here to try the defendant in the press. This is also not the time to discuss questions of whether or not the Safety Act could have been amended in such a way to prevent this tragedy. I don't think my opinion about the Safety Act is well hidden. I didn't like it when it was passed, and I continue to find it troublesome. But here, we're talking about a specific offender who we aim to bring to justice. So I think other questions are immaterial to that right now.
In 2021, your office, this is before cash bail ended, of course, your office agreed to a plea deal with DJ Marshall that dismissed robbery and aggravated battery charges in exchange for the burglary charges. He went to state prison on those, but that decision wasn't made under the Safety Act. Why were those violent felonies run?
So he went to prison on those charges, but I also cannot discuss criminal history in the context of this prosecution. Those are the kinds of things that could lend a difficulty in this prosecution. I'll tell you, there's nothing I will do that will in any way undermine this current prosecution. But I would say Marshall has a long criminal history, and I can't go into it other than that. You're welcome to, and I believe you've already written on this, Mr. Maxwell. So, but beyond that, we aim to get generally the most time in every case that we can, subject to the facts and the evidence, because our duty is to these individuals behind us to make sure that their cases are brought to a successful conclusion. And in this particular instance, when there are warrants issued, those are the opportunities for the police to then exercise those warrants. And so in this case, the fact that he had multiple warrants meant that the police were on him. They were tracking him, and he was subject to arrest at any time. It just so happens that rather than doing that, he decided to take a violent route, which is highly regrettable. So that's all I'll say on that.
Can you talk about how officers put their lives on the line every day and once again you're grateful for their work?
Amen. I have nothing to add. I think police officers is one of the highest callings. I served in the Army, and men and women in the military would serve, and they would deploy every once in a while. Police officers deploy every day. You know, every day a police officer walks out the front door, his or her family members know that could be a day they get a terrible phone call. And that is something that we can never praise enough. And that is something that makes outrageous, it just highlights the outrageous nature of attacks on our police. They serve everyone. They serve everyone. So we need to commend that, and I'll tell you, we're going to be fighting for that in this prosecution.
I have a question for the chief about where Marshall was taken into custody and if he was found by a canine.
Where's Jamie at? Where's Jamie? So to begin to answer your question, he was in the 2500 block of Missouri Avenue. And there was an abandoned vehicle on a property. He was located inside of that vehicle. There was information that we were given that led to us finding him there. And there was a canine on scene that ultimately apprehended him.
I don't have
Anything
anything,
additional?
that's
Okay.
basically it.
Beyond the active warrants, has the Granite City Police Department received any calls about DJ Marshall in the days leading up to the shooting, and were actively investigating anything related to those calls?
Not to my knowledge.
Chief, can you say anything more about the condition of Officer Timmons? I mean, is he stable condition? Where were his injuries?
Yeah, he is stable. He continues to improve daily. I have seen him every day. I have not been over there today, but I will after this to get an update from him. But he continues to improve every day, and he is getting stronger. He's doing very well.
Are you able to say where he was shot at?
Do you want me to release that?
It's up to you.
Okay.
You just decline.
Okay. No, thank you. I'm not going to answer that.
Tom, perhaps you've seen that the governor and other policymakers have indicated an openness to make further changes to the law. If we can zoom out from this particular instance, what lessons can policymakers learn as they look to those outstanding warrants? Collinsville pulled this guy over in July with drugs and a revoked license. Could something change in the law to prevent this in the future? And if so, what would that be?
I'm not here to talk about amendments to the Safety Act. I think that's a matter for the legislature. We have to enforce the law as it's written. And these men and women behind me are bound to enforce the law. We're here to do a prosecution of an individual who we believe threatened the life of a police officer. That's what we're here for. So we're not going to have a legislative hearing on whether or not the Safety Act should be amended at this point. I obviously find it troublesome. That's all I'll say on the matter. But I think right now, we're here to bring justice to this offender in this particular instance, and we're here to bring justice to the Timmons family. And I think other things, other matters, are immaterial to this particular conversation today.
Do you believe that he will be able to receive a fair trial in Madison County?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In Madison County, we have great jurors. In Madison County, we have great judges. We have great prosecutors. We have great defense counsel. We have a good group of professionals who are dedicated to following the law and implementing the regulations as need be, and to make sure that everybody has their day in court. Everybody does. And that's why I'm ethically bound and restricted to what I can talk about here today, because we don't try people in the press. I make my feelings known about my intentions, what we intend to do in this prosecution, and we intend to exert the maximum justice that we can under law in this particular instance, because if you harm a police officer, we are going to do everything we can. We're going to leave no stone unturned to make sure that you suffer the most punishment possible under the law. But beyond that, it's a fair process. We have our day in court. He will have his, and we look forward to that day.
Did body camera capture the entirety of this incident and encounter?
I can't discuss the evidence in the case. This is a statement for charges and about the initiation of the arrest, just to provide information to the public which is necessary. Again, at the trial, at the pendency of this trial, all this evidence will be brought to light, and that's the appropriate point, and we can't discuss the actual evidence of the case.
Maybe a question for the chief, not entirely sure, but a manhunt that dragged on this long is remarkable. To end at, 3 a.m. I think it was? Can you describe the shifts or rotations? Were officers just staying on the clock that whole time? How did that handoff work?
It was very fluid. There were officers that were working. Obviously, our shifts end at 7 p.m. Those officers, many of them stayed. At a certain point in time, we did have to make the decision to send some people home. That way they could get some sleep in the event that it would have gone past 3 o'clock and into the next day. However, many guys volunteered and wanted to stay. Guys and gals wanted to stay. And again, as you can see, with as many people as there are here, we had more than enough people to handle this.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your officer?
As far as what?
Something about, hard worker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, it's very hard not to like him. I don't know anybody that doesn't like him. He's a man of many talents. We all love him here, and you know, we wish him the best and want to see him make a full recovery, which we're very hopeful for. So.
I think the firemen do that really, the firemen,
Yeah.
the job they did that day too.
I'm not going to throw their name out. Yeah. One other thing that I do want to say, I did mention this a little bit. I mentioned about the Granite City Fire Department, but they did an awesome job. The paramedics who showed up on scene immediately began, you know, their life-saving measures and treatment. They were awesome in keeping him calm, getting him the proper care, getting him to the hospital, and going that extra mile, you know, for him. So I really want to thank them and express my gratitude to the fire department and thank them specifically. Thank you.
Is the officer scheduled for any more surgery, to your knowledge?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, and thank you to all the men and women here who showed up for Officer Timmons. I think it's really incredible, and I know that when you go do your job, that you know this is the group that's behind you is a great thing for all of us in Madison County. I just want to thank you. So, all right. Merry Christmas.